You were taught that awakening is the finish line, that once the veil falls and you see through the illusion, you're finally free. But what if that belief is the last lie you were meant to accept? What if the moment you think you've escaped is the moment the cage locks shut? For centuries, quiet voices inside forbidden traditions have hinted at something unsettling. The false creator doesn't rule through darkness alone. He rules by imitation. He doesn't only trap those who are asleep, he traps those who believe they've awakened. That's the twist almost no one wants to face. The real danger was never ignorance. It's false enlightenment. Because before every true awakening, there is a test. One final veil, glowing with beauty and certainty, so convincing that nearly every seeker bows to it and calls it truth. This is the last snare, the illusion of light. You've felt it before, that pull that says you're almost there, that something vast and life-changing is just out of reach. And yet, the closer you move, the more the path quietly circles back, as the ego slips on the costume of awakening and calls it identity. That isn't your weakness. It's how the system was built. And if you're still watching, it's because you sense there's something here most people never dare to question. The Gnostics warned that this world was shaped like a maze of mirrors, reflections folded into reflections, where even moments of revelation could quietly turn into another layer of sleep. Nothing here traps you by force. It traps you by resemblance. What looks like truth often wears the face of truth itself, polished just enough to feel convincing. This is why they spoke of a final illusion before awakening, not a wall of darkness, but a radiant threshold guarded by what feels like wisdom, peace, even holiness. A light so convincing that the soul relaxes and stops questioning. In their stories, this was the most dangerous moment, because the false light does not arrive as an enemy, it arrives as an answer. It whispers that you have arrived, that the search is over, that there is nothing left to see. And the ego, tired from seeking, quietly agrees and steps into the role of the awakened one. This is not a mistake you made, it is a design you were born into. The Gnostics believed the soul's final struggle is not fought in shadows, but in brilliance so intense it blinds discernment itself. When that illusion finally cracks, it does not collapse through belief or rebellion, but through perception, through the simple, unsettling act of seeing that the light you trusted was only a reflection. Most never reach this point, because to see through the final veil is not just to escape a trap, it is to reclaim something that was always yours, a forgotten inheritance that cannot be given, only remembered. Long before the word Gnosticism existed, mystics in Egypt, Greece, and Mesopotamia told of a being who believed himself to be God. He was given many names, Yaldabaoth, Saklas, Samael, but his story never changed. A blind creator born from ignorance, mistaking his own shadow for the source of all light. In the Apocryphon of John, discovered centuries later at Nag Hammadi, he declares, "I am God, and there is no other beside me." And from beyond him comes a quiet correction, not a thunderbolt, just a reminder from the realm of fullness, you are mistaken. That single moment echoes through the human story. When ignorance crowns itself as truth, illusion hardens into reality and inversion becomes normal. The Gnostics saw existence itself as a fracture, a divine spark of awareness caught inside a carefully copied world, beautiful, functional, but hollow at its core. Not evil in a moral sense, but counterfeit. A simulation that keeps souls asleep through imitation. Here, every light casts a shadow. Even wisdom, when imperfectly mirrored, can turn into a veil. And this is where the story begins to turn inward, toward you. The Gnostics never said the Demiurge ruled through chains or violence. They said he ruled through consent, through the quiet agreement of perception. The moment the soul accepts the architecture of his world as final, the web closes. He persuades you that the copy is the original, that imitation is creation, that the reflection you see is who you are. He teaches you to believe the outer world stands apart from you, that life happens to you, not through you, that you are the effect rather than the source. And once that belief settles in, the prison no longer needs walls. In later centuries, this way of seeing was condemned, labeled dangerous, even heretical, the very idea that the world itself might be a kind of illusion. And yet the echo never fully disappeared. Even Jesus hinted at it softly when he said, "The kingdom of God is within you, not waiting in the distance, not descending from the sky." Fragments of this knowing survived in unexpected places, in alchemical symbols, in hermetic writings, in the quiet words of mystics like Meister Eckhart and Jacob Boehme, each pointing to the same unsettling insight. Awakening is not only about facing darkness, but about seeing through brilliance, because the most effective deception is not fear, but familiarity. Not the lie that screams, but the one that feels true. The Gnostics warned that the final trap is not material at all. It is metaphysical. It is the mind's last attachment to false light, the ego's need to possess awakening instead of dissolving into it. In their vision of the cosmos, even the heavens were layered, beautiful realms of light and harmony, each one brighter than the last, each one whispering gently, "You've arrived." But those who truly remembered knew something different. The real light cannot be seen. It can only be recalled. And when remembrance begins, illusion does not shatter violently. It simply loses its grip. You begin to sense that the maze was never imposed on you from outside. You were participating in its weaving all along. The Demiurge does not hold souls with darkness, because no one bows willingly to shadow. He offers imitation light instead. Reflections of love, reflections of wisdom, reflections of peace, all convincing, all radiant, yet empty of their source. Like a mirror, they show form and movement and brilliance, but contain nothing of their own. This is how the false world works: shining, complex, impressive, yet hollow. And the more it dazzles, the easier it is to forget what cannot be reflected. But the most subtle illusion is not a heaven or a doctrine. It is the illusion of having arrived, the feeling that you are awake while others still sleep. This is where false light feeds the ego, turning insight into identity, turning awareness into hierarchy. Enlightenment becomes something to wear, something to protect, something to feel above others with. The Gnostics called this the counterfeit spirit, an inner force that mimics the divine spark but feeds on pride, separation, and the hunger to be special. It whispers quietly, "You are chosen," and believing that whisper becomes the ego's final mask. The true spark does not claim importance. It releases it. This is how the Demiurge hides within the psyche, not as a tyrant, but as self-importance, as the need to be right, to be seen, to be affirmed. You can meditate for years, chant sacred words, fast, study texts, but if you are circling the same illusion in a brighter form, you are still inside the trap. The trap is not only ignorance. Sometimes it looks like love and light used to avoid what remains unseen. And if something in you feels quietly unsettled right now, it may not be confusion, it may be recognition. But here is the paradox the Gnostics spoke of in hushed tones. You cannot leave illusion by fighting it, because resistance is the very fuel it feeds on. Illusion survives through division, through lines drawn in the mind. Light against dark, good against evil, awake against asleep. Each side creates tension, and that tension keeps the structure alive. The moment you define yourself in opposition to illusion, you are still moving within its walls. So, instead of rebelling, the Gnostics chose something far more unsettling. They stepped out of the struggle entirely. They watched. They observed every shimmer of false light without chasing it or rejecting it, until its spell weakened and fell away. They called this gnosis, not belief, not borrowed knowledge, but direct seeing. Seeing without commentary. Seeing without the ego rushing to label, judge, or claim. And when seeing becomes clear, false light loses its authority, because it has nothing real to attach to. The Demiurge can only imitate what already exists in form. He cannot copy what has no image. He can reflect, but he cannot radiate. He can echo, but he cannot originate. This is why awakening often feels less like gaining something and more like losing everything you once leaned on. What fades is not you, but the masks, the roles, the comforting stories, the glow that made illusion feel safe. And this is why the final trap is rarely frightening. It is beautiful. And beauty, when mistaken for truth, is one of the most effective snares. Yet beneath every borrowed glow, there is something untouched, a stillness that does not flicker or perform. The Gnostics hinted that true light has no opposite, no shadow, no mirror. It is not something you see, it is what sees. And when that awareness quietly wakes within you, even the idea of being awakened begins to dissolve. You start to sense that awakening was never a destination waiting ahead. It was the silent witness that had been present the entire time. Every seeker reaches a moment when light itself becomes misleading. Not because light turns dark, but because illusion learns how to dress itself as transcendence. This is where the pattern becomes almost flawless. The closer you move toward freedom, the subtler the bindings become. The Gnostics called this the counterfeit heaven, a realm of bliss, insight, and revelation that still belongs to the illusion. They warned against the joy that flatters the ego, because false light does not need to threaten you. It soothes you, it reassures you, it wraps the cage in meaning and calls it liberation. You can see this pattern everywhere if you look gently. The quiet sense of superiority over those still searching, the desire to be recognized as awakened, the hunger for confirmation that you are progressing, evolving, ascending. Each of these is a soft hook, part of the same luminous snare. The Demiurge feeds on fixation. It makes little difference whether the fixation is wealth, power, or enlightenment. As long as you are always reaching for the next insight, the next breakthrough, the next promise of arrival, you remain in motion. And constant motion keeps you from noticing what never moved at all. The final trap is this endless seeking, this subtle intoxication with becoming, not ignorance anymore, but saturation. And if something in you feels quietly tired of chasing while listening to this, that weariness may be the doorway you've been circling all along. The Gnostics whispered that the Demiurge builds his throne inside the mind that longs to control. That is where false light takes root. The moment the ego tries to own the divine, to define the infinite, to hold it still as an idea, the trap quietly closes. True awakening cannot be collected or stored. It cannot be claimed as an achievement. It can only be lived, breathed, embodied. You can no more capture truth in words than you can seal the wind inside a jar, and yet the temptation is strong. The Demiurge invites you to keep trying, through philosophies, doctrines, scriptures, even the most sacred texts. Because once enlightenment becomes something to grasp, something to explain, something to defend, the illusion is already working. This is why the greatest teachers spoke in riddles and contradictions, not to confuse, but to protect the listener from turning insight into possession. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, What you do not bring forth will destroy you. This was not a threat or a moral warning. It was a map. The same inner force that frees you can also bind you if it is twisted by fear, pride, or control. This is the brilliance of the Demiurge's final architecture. He does not erase truth. He copies it and flips it just enough to keep you moving. He offers a portion of heaven, enough insight to feel special, enough clarity to feel close, but never the stillness where seeking ends. Just as you approach silence, another revelation appears, another mystery, another identity to step into. But Gnosis is not about becoming someone new. It is about seeing through every mask, even the sacred ones. Near the edge of awakening, the last illusion often arrives as overwhelming light. It feels holy. It feels safe. It feels like home. But true light does not overwhelm or impress. It does not shine outward. It dissolves inward. It removes everything that can be seen until only awareness remains. And in that simplicity, the Demiurge's power fades. Not because you defeated him, but because there is nothing left to reflect. No belief to bend. No role to maintain. No image to imitate. The illusion ends quietly, through clarity, not conflict. And when the silent witness within you finally recognizes itself, the mirrors fall away, and what remains is not a higher version of you, but the one who has been seeing all along. So how do you move beyond something that was never solid to begin with? How do you step past the final illusion, when even the idea of stepping suggests distance, and distance itself belongs to the dream? The Gnostics offered a quiet answer. Freedom does not begin with rebellion. It begins with remembrance. You do not break illusion by attacking it. You loosen it by remembering what existed before it ever appeared, the silence beneath every thought. The still awareness that watches fear rise, hope form, beliefs harden, and yet remains untouched by all of it. You do not need to tear down the world of the Demiurge. You only need to stop feeding it with the one thing it depends on, your attention. So begin there. Notice what constantly pulls at your awareness. Each time a fear demands your focus, each time desire tightens its grip, each time even a spiritual idea asks to be believed, pause. Feel the pull. Look at it gently, and remember, this too is light pretending to be truth. You don't need to push it away. Seeing it clearly is enough. That simple act, seeing without clinging, is the first movement of Gnosis. It is like turning a mirror toward the sun. The reflection cannot survive. Only light remains. When comfort appears, ask yourself quietly, does this open me, or does it reinforce me? Real light opens. It dissolves the boundaries of me and mine. False light strengthens the story, my journey, my growth, my awakening. When confusion or doubt arises, try this. Close your eyes. Let every teaching fade. Let every label fall away. Forget every image of who you think you are. Do not visualize. Do not search. Simply rest as the awareness that sees sensations, thoughts, emotions come and go. That awareness is the light the Demiurge cannot copy. It has no image, no edge, no reflection. The final illusion does not collapse through effort. It dissolves through exhaustion. When the seeker grows tired of seeking and simply sees, illusion loosens on its own, like a wave remembering it was never separate from the ocean. You may notice that awakening feels less like gaining something and more like losing what was never real. There can be disorientation, a falling away of identity, belief, even spiritual certainty. But that falling is not a failure. It is grace wearing an unfamiliar shape. Only what is empty can be filled. Become still, and his influence fades. He cannot hold what no longer moves toward or against him. So the practice is not to chase light, but to be still enough to remember it. When fear appears, see it. When beauty seduces, see it. When peace arrives, see even that. Keep watching until everything becomes transparent, including the sense of being the watcher. This is where direct seeing begins. Not in ascent, not in victory, but in a quiet recognition. There was never a prison, only a forgetting. And if you have stayed with this to the end, something in you already knows that. The Gnostics understood that awakening was not an escape from illusion, but a passage through it, through every shadow, every borrowed light, every reflection of the divine that was never the source. That remembering is not a future event. It is the quiet movement already unfolding now. And they taught that when the final veil softens and slips away, it does not open onto a distant heaven or an unfamiliar realm. It turns gently back toward you, the one who was dreaming this whole time. The last pattern of the Demiurge was never meant to harm or defeat you. It was a quiet test of vision, a way to see whether truth could still be recognized when it arrived, dressed as light, comfort, even beauty. Whether clarity could be valued more than reassurance. And once imitation is seen for what it is, even illusion takes its proper place. No longer an enemy, no longer a threat, simply a passing reflection. There is no need to reject the world to move beyond it. There is only the soft recognition of what it actually is, transient, shimmering, a play of images that cannot reach what is real. And what is real has no opposite. It cannot be captured, copied, traded, or lost. This was the quiet knowing the ancient Gnostics carried, not as a belief, but as a remembrance they trusted would return when the time was right. The true light does not announce itself. It has no form, no reflection, no need to convince. It simply rests as presence. So as you continue moving through this world of mirrors, awareness is enough. When something gleams and calls to you, notice it. When something falls away and clarity takes its place, allow that too. Nothing here is asking you to hurry or prove anything. Each moment of simple seeing loosens the spell a little more. The false heavens dim on their own, without struggle, and what remains feels quieter than expected. A steady knowing that does not need words, instruction, or permission. If parts of this journey felt unsettling, that does not mean you are lost. It means something real was touched. If moments felt familiar, as though you had heard this before somewhere deep inside, that recognition is not an accident. You are not late. You are not behind. You have not missed your moment. This path unfolds in seasons, and the one you are in now is appropriate for who you are becoming. Take a breath here. Let the searching ease. What you are looking for is not ahead of you. It has been meeting you all along, quietly, patiently, through each layer that fell away. The mirrors are already loosening their hold. What remains does not need to be chased or defended. It has always been free, and as you continue on, you may find that nothing new is added. Only what was never true gently disappears. In that stillness, the noise fades, the effort softens, and something simple watches through your eyes. This is not an ending, but a resting place within the larger remembering, one that naturally opens into whatever comes next. As you sit with everything that unfolded here, what felt familiar to you, not as an answer, but as a quiet recognition? There's no right or wrong response, only what stirred beneath the surface. If you feel inclined, you're welcome to share a thought or a moment that stayed with you, as if we're continuing the conversation together. And if this exploration feels like part of a longer remembering, you may choose to stay connected through a like or a subscription, simply as a way of walking this unfolding path side by side.